Ardern.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order. I've called Jacinda Ardern.
My question to the Minister of Social Development. Does she stand by her answer to oral questions on Tuesday that, quote, there is in New Zealand no actual poverty line and, quote, I do not see the measurement as a priority?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, because it's correct. There is no official measure of poverty in New Zealand. The actual work to address poverty is perhaps what's most important. Things like insulating homes, making sure that we legislate for CPI increases and benefits, getting people into work, ensuring children have access to free health care. That is the priority for this government.
Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. When she said that the Ministerial Committee on Poverty was, quote, getting things done instead of just worrying about measurements, end quote, had she read the one Treasury paper provided to the committee which stated, quote, getting a New Zealand-specific sense of the dynamic poverty data could be a useful place to start?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I certainly stand by the work and the hard work that's going on within that ministerial committee. What we are concentrating on is the things that matter to New Zealand and particularly to those most vulnerable children. Quite frankly, the list is so long, Mr Speaker, that you wouldn't allow me the time to actually read it out at this time on that work that's happening.
Order. What I would allow the Minister to do, though, is to answer whether or not she'd seen the paper that was the subject of the question.
Yes, Mr
The Honourable
Speaker.
Paula Bennett.
Yes.
Thank the Minister. Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. What information was used to generate the figure in her own Green Paper that, quote, nearly 20% of New Zealand children live in poverty?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I think that's exactly where we say that the measure can actually be controversial and at same level speculative. So what we have done is, as you would have seen from the research behind that Green Paper, is we've taken it from a variety of measures and come up with 20%, but I would say to you that it's relative and it could be changed.
Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. Does she agree that 20% of New Zealand children live in poverty?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I think that children move in and out of poverty pretty much on a daily basis. What I don't agree with, well, they do. 1 week they can be in poverty, then their parent can get a job or increase their income, and they're no longer in poverty. Get in the real world. This is not Labour land. This is the real world. And actually, children move in and out of poverty at times on a weekly basis, and it's a fact. Read the research. What I don't agree with is that poverty and measuring it is what is most important for New Zealand children today. There is plenty of evidence that says that many parents whose children and themselves live in poverty...
Order. Point of order. The Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Paula Bennett was asked whether she agreed that 20% of New Zealand children are living in poverty, and we have heard a diatribe but no answer to the most basic question. Does she agree, yes or no?
Order. No, ministers are never required to answer yes or no to that type of question. The Minister has stated how she sees that figure, and she's argued to some interjection from the other side that children move in and out of poverty, and it is clearly an answer to the question. It may not be the one that member was. Order. I'm on my feet. Yes, thank you. And it may not be the best of answers. That's not for the Speaker to judge, but the House was clearly indicating what it thought of the answer, but it was in order.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor.
Mr Speaker, now that there has been that interruption, and I apologise to my colleague for cutting in front of him again, I think it would be appropriate if the Minister started the answer again, because I think we've lost some of the flow of it.
Order.
Point of order.
Order. I don't think that... The Right Honourable Winston Peters. Order. Now look, this point of order process will not go on too much longer.
Yeah, but surely the rudimentary assumption from the question is that on any given day, that is the 20%, on any given day, does she agree that 20% are in poverty? Now, do we have to have these tortious explanations without an answer?
Order. The member cannot dispute answers by way of point of order. If the member doesn't like the answer, ask a supplementary question. That's what question time is about. It is not about raising points of order because the answer is not liked. I'm certainly prepared to entertain points of order when questions are not answered at all. And I intervened with this order. I say to the Minister, do not interject. I've had enough of this today. And there will not... The Minister is showing no more discipline or less discipline than a 3-year-old child. Now, it will cease. I'm serious. Jacinda Ardern, supplementary question.
Supplementary to the Minister. Does she agree that today 20% of New Zealand children live in poverty?
I haven't measured them today.
I hadn't even called the Minister.
Sorry.
Can I encourage the Minister
Mr. Speaker.
to settle down, the Honourable Paula Bennett?
I haven't measured them today.
Question number 5, Dr. Russell Norman.